Ladies and gentlemen, our next guest of the evening is San Diego's 3rd District Supervisor. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Dave Roberts.
Thank you, Dave.
Come in. Dave, thank you for coming on the show. It's
Glad
so nice
to be here.
See you. So Dave, for the audience here, now you are the 3rd District, you're District 3 Supervisor for County of San Diego. Lay people might be familiar with District 9, that's where the aliens are kept. But where exactly is District 3?
So San Diego is divided into 5 districts. Each
Okay.
district has about 650,000 residents in that district. And so I have the district that goes from Encinitas to La Jolla Farms, San Pasqual Valley to Grantville, and almost everything in between.
Okay, do you have all of these? Are they all in your district? Or, by the
Actually,
way,
I was
we
gonna
couldn't
come
get
and
Ocean
turn
Beach up
them,
here.
not
I'm a
one
little
of them.
upset about that. So, can you come down and clean up my district is what I guess is my question. So let me ask you the most important question then about your district. Best burrito in your district?
That's a tough one.
Okay.
If I'm in Escondido, it's Los Charros on East Valley Parkway.
Los Charros.
If I'm in
Write that down, Keith.
Encinitas, I have 2 favorites there, both Bull Taco and Juanita's. But of course, probably, I used to be the mayor of Solana Beach, and Solana Beach is my hometown. And in Solana Beach, I really like Tony Hacal's.
Wow, we got more answers than we knew. That's a lot of good. That's hashtag don't forget the guac. That's what I say. So you and I met, we were both presenters recently at the San Diego Film Awards.
Yes.
What an amazing event that was.
Yes.
And our producer, Folly, was actually put that together. Well done, Folly. But now I have no idea why I was invited, but you were invited because you're very involved in San Diego film. Can you tell us about that and how that came to be?
Sure. You know, when I came into office a little over 3 years ago, there were a number of initiatives that I wanted to work on. And one was to re-envision our film industry here in the entire San Diego region. I thought it'd be good for the image of San Diego. I thought it'd be good. There's so many people that want to work in the industry right here. And unfortunately, they have to go outside the area a lot of time for jobs. So I happened to be at a reception. You always wonder what politicians do at receptions. And I walked up to the mayor of San Diego and I said, Kevin, you're the new mayor. Can we work on something together? He says, what do you want to work on, Dave? And I said, I want to re-envision the film industry. And he said, so do I. Let's work on it together. And so
Fantastic.
That's what we've been doing for the last 2 years. And we've done it in methodical steps. We've been helping support they have the film festival here in San Diego. They have the film awards that we just had the 3rd annual one. Both the city and the county are investing funds to rebuild the film industry. We just opened a film office. So if you all have an interest in doing a motion picture or something here, the city of San Diego now has a manager of the film office. And so people can call. We just filmed a pilot here in San Diego called Pitch over at Petco Park and the Hilton Bayfront.
And that's you and Mayor Faulkner doing that together? You're filming that?
It would be great. It was actually about a woman Major League Baseball player, and
okay.
I really liked the premise. And you always think, like, do politicians do anything important? And in this case, it was the state legislature. They put in incentives, and they said, if you want to make a film, apply for an incentive, and if you do it outside of the 20-mile LA radius, we will give you a 5% bonus. And so Fox Entertainment, in this case, bid for some of the incentives. They got picked in the lottery, and so they said, we're going to come to San Diego and film this series. We hope the pilot gets picked up for at least 13 episodes. We filmed a reality show in Encinitas called Life on the Lot. We're hoping it will get picked up, and we're trying to lure right now a major motion picture that was filmed here decades ago, and we're trying to get the sequel to come back here to San Diego County.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, it's terrific. If you ever need like a local talk show, come see us. We know a few people interested. So do you have a favorite film, by the way, about politics? You're into politics and film. Is there one in particular that's your favorite?
I think you know I have 6 adopted county foster kids. Over the last 20 years, that's one reason I got involved in politics, is that we wanted to adopt some kids from the county. We never wanted 6, but it just happened.
Yeah, I read that.
And you know how things happen.
That's
and
amazing.
So we have.
I read initially that it was 5.
Right.
So you adopted another one right before this interview, or?
Yes.
That,
But so.
it's like you just, it's a good guy.
So when you have 6 kids, ages 3 to 20, your choice of movies are somewhat limited.
Sure.
But I have to tell you, my favorite movie is something probably before everybody in this audience was born, but it was Dave, which was filmed in 1994, and it was when the president had a stroke and they hired an impersonator to come in, and he stands up there and he says, you know, I'm Dave and I am the president and I will do this, and it was the impersonator that was in the role of president. And I really like that because I think a lot of time with elected officials, you really wonder, why are they in this? What do they really want to do?
Sure.
And I know what I want to do. I've got a very limited time to do it, and I'm working every day to do it.
That's terrific. Yeah. That's great. So I thought I would try to quiz you a little bit, since you're a film guy and you're into show business and politics. I was going to read you a quote from a president and see if you could name the president that this quote is from, all right? So bear with me and give it your best shot. Here's the quote. Politics is no longer theater, it's show business, so let's put on the best show in town. Who do you think said that?
Ronald Reagan?
That's a good guess. Ronald Reagan, right?
Is it right?
I was actually a trick question. It was Frank Underwood from House of Cards. So, probably an unfair question, but I don't know if you're familiar with that show. I actually grew up in Washington, D.C., where that show is set, and I know that you lived and worked in Washington, D.C.
Right.
for a long time,
Right.
Part of the Pentagon.
I started in Washington, D.C. in 1980, and I worked in the Pentagon. I worked for the U.S. House of Representatives. I worked for the U.S. Senate. The Air Force sent me overseas for 3 years and came back to the United States and got to go back to Capitol Hill.
That's terrific. Do you think that government in D.C. is as dark as it's portrayed in House of Cards? Or give us maybe a perspective on San Diego government that's a little bit more uplifting than that show.
I will tell you, here in San Diego, you have elected officials on both sides of the political aisle, and we look at solutions to problems, and we look at how we can work together. And I tell that to people over and over again. You know, my family came to what we know as America in 1629, 400 years ago. And I'm the 11th generation. And when you see that time span and how our country has changed, but here in San Diego, you really get electeds that want to work on problems. And I'm always telling people there's no Republican or Democratic way to fill a pothole. It's just figure out how to fill the darn pothole and let's get on with it. And so, what's that a question?
Well, you were just mentioning.
Do you have a pothole?
I have a pothole in Ocean Beach that needs filling. 20 years it's been there, this pothole.
I'll call the mayor and let him know.
Now, it's an Ocean Beach one, so the pothole, it's a different thing. But anyway, I don't know if you want to, I don't think you can fill that one. But you were talking about bipartisan stuff. I actually had read this. I thought it was pretty incredible. You were the first Democrat elected to San Diego County Board of Supervisors in 20 years.
Yes.
That's pretty amazing that you could get in there and bring some new blood to the situation. You know?
I was actually the only one elected in 20 years. All the others have been there that long. And my predecessor decided that she was going to retire. She crossed party lines and said, I think of the 5 candidates, you are the best to take my position and carry on. And one of the reasons is I am passionate about the arts and culture and theater and film industry. And it's just so important to the future of this region and how we showcase ourselves to the world. So that's why I think the voters put me there and want me there.
Yeah, that's terrific. Terrific. I think it's, from my perspective, an outsider looking in, I think it's good to have someone that got into politics to really help people. I mean, the fact that you've adopted 5 and now a 6th man for the basketball team, I think that's really a great thing. So I really thank you for coming on the show.
Thank
and
you.
how can they help bring film to San Diego, and how can they help you in your endeavors?
So I think that the best thing that you can do is watch this initiative as it unfolds. And we have a person in the city government now, and her job is the manager of the film office. We're building a directory of locations. I actually suggested my house because we have a Leave It to Beaver style house. Seriously, it used to belong to Patty Page, the singer, and we purchased her brick colonial in Solana Beach. But we're doing all these initiatives, and it's going to be a continuing effort. But when you go to the ballot box or you talk to politicians, ask them, what are you doing to help rebuild the film industry, to help grow jobs, to give us opportunities here? Because it's not just you all that are so good looking in front of the camera. It's people when you go to the hardware store, when you go to the restaurants, the hotels. I mean, all that. When Pitch was filming here, they were spending over $3 million a week on our local economy. And it affects so many of us. That's why we want to re-envision the film industry here in San Diego.
Yeah, we got to do that. It's fantastic. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Dave. Really appreciate you coming on the show. It's been fantastic to meet you and chat with you. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after this. Give it up one more time for Dave Roberts, everybody.